Why was I muted? I hit the unmute button, but apparently it didn't take. Okay. Yeah, that's our new female Hrothgar. The good thing is that the Kryle gear does let the tail through, unlike the Fat Cat. Though we don't have the hood for some stupid reason. We are in the Crystarium, just starting out the beginning of Shadowbringers. New to the city front. Spinning head and wide eyes give you away. Welcome. My name is Bragi, and I'm a master of these markets. They gave the district another official title, but I'm not in the habit of using it. Too florid by half. In any case, our merchants stock a range of equipment for Ronso like you and me. So finding something in your size shouldn't be a problem. Isn't Ronso what Kimari was? I'm sorry, did you say Ronso? Aye, something wrong? Let's see if we can straighten this out. See those two in front of us? The shorter one is the Whom. The taller one is an elf. That sturdy individual over there is a Galgent. Whilst the other one with the horns is a Drawn. And then you have the large scaly chaps with long tails and a knack for raising livestock. Those would be the Zune. I have already forgotten all of that. Which is apparently not the name you know them by. Now I'm curious to know which far-flung region you hail from. Ah, same as the Exarch, eh? Well, that explains it. You don't get much further flung than that. I've had a few of your lot pass through in recent years, and despite your obvious learning, they floundered over the simplest things. But not to worry. Should you find yourself confused by the local language or customs, I'll be here to answer your questions. You've learned about the people of the First. Catless and the Crystalline Mean, and then the Cabinet of... I always have trouble finding my way to the Cabinet of Curiosity. I think it's... down here? Should probably be hitting these as we go, too. That's always my issue, isn't it? That I keep forgetting that this door opens. I just see big door and assume that it blocks passage. Excuse me, miss. Are you recently come to the city, perchance? I'm quite familiar with our civic roles, you see, and well, what I mean to say is, have you brought any books with you? A rumble scroll, even? A scrap of scrolled-on parchment? No. My apologies. Literature is something of an obsession of mine, as well as a profession. Librarian Morian, at your service, and this humble collection is known as the Cabinet of Curiosity. As your powers of perception have likely informed you, my colleagues and I are responsible for curating all manner of tomes, documents, and other vehicles for the written word. As horrific as the loss of life and land brought by the flood unquestionably was, the damage to recorded knowledge was no less catastrophic. We few do all we can to preserve what wisdom survived. But tell me, what brings you to the cabinet today? Looking for any title in particular? May have a spot of academic research? Oh, so you've been interested in modern history. Splendid. A thorough review of recent events can often yield novel perspectives. I quite agree. If you would prefer something visual to accompany the account, then I think I have an illustrated history book for children somewhere. Just a moment, and I'll fetch it for you. An illustrated history book for children. Yes, that's what we need. We are a child in this land. And here we are. You like to pull up a chair? Make yourself more comfortable? On to the lesson, then. A few hundred years ago, or near enough not to matter, a villain known as the Warriors of Light slew the Shadowkeeper, the Steward of Darkness. In the wake of this tainted deed, light began to pour into the world as if from unseen cracks. It pooled and swelled without cease, until the day an enormous, blinding wave rose up and swept across our star. We call this calamity the Flood of Light. Everything it touched was leached of life and vigor, leaving naught behind but a luminous wasteland. Yet, just when it seemed that all would be lost, a savior appeared before us. The Oracle of Light. She stood twixt us and approaching doom, and by her power did she stay the flood. Thus was Norvrant, and Norvrant alone spared the fate of erasure. Tragedy would, however, arrive in another form. From the blasted emptiness descended horrors of strange and terrible aspect to bedevil the few folk who survived. These sin-eaters were light incarnate, and their fulgent presence stole the night from Norvrant's sky. Even now, they circle the remaining bastions of civilization, ever on the hunt for us, ever hungering for our flesh. And thus did the world become what it is. Should you ever wish to hear the tale again, I would be glad to retell it for you. Or if you would rather I speak of other matters, that too would be my pleasure. I should be glad of the company. Oh my god, wait, I need to do that again. Hold on. Just a moment. The dress floats up. I can probably jump back up. I just thought it was cool that if you jump from a high enough level, it floats up. I need to go back this way. I need to grab the other net. There's two of them over here. Maybe? Or is that one part of that? Oh, I should probably... Oh, it's not working yet. Okay. There you are. Got you. How do I get up there? Crystarium's got like weird interlocking levels that just confuse the crap out of me a lot of times. Did I get that one? Not. Okay, no, I've not gotten the docile gate. That's right there. Which one did I grab? Oh, there's just straight up one for the Cabinet of Curiosity. Okay. Yeah, I know, I have one more person to talk to, but I'm trying to find the Ethernet shard so I can jump around this city easier. Up here? Yes, there you are. What's up, you? This place will be important later on. Rare to see a place so well stocked with goods, isn't it? But not here. I'm gonna guess you're new to our fair city. Well, for what it's worth, you've chosen a fine sanctuary. The XR can throw up a barrier if the Sin Eaters come knocking, so it's a damn sight safer in here than it is out there. Safer and more civilized too, thanks to us in the mean. We work together to procure materials and resources, craft the goods which make city life possible. This is the place to visit if you need a coat mended or a kettle forged. Just don't go thinking it'll all be handed to you on a plate like those Yulmoran layabouts. Here in the Crystarium, we work for a living. Though I see you're no stranger to honest labor. You don't have that whiff of indolence about you like some folk I've met. Still, can't quite pin down your profession. Where is it you're from? One of the XR's countrymen, you say? I see. Well then, I'll work twice as hard to make you feel welcome. Our city wouldn't even exist if it weren't for him. Any friend of his is a friend of ours. Really quite incredible when you think about it. They say his grand magic summoned the Crystal Tower into existence. Pulled the entire thing out of thin air. Or another reality. wasn't long before droves of refugees began congregating around its base, desperate for shelter after losing their homes to the flood. And that's how the Crystarium began. The Exarch's invitation, buildings started going up, and with the help of some curious relics brought forth from the tower, the place gradually expanded into the thriving metropolis you see today. The city stood here for decades now, yet the eldest among us swear the Exarch looks exactly the same as he did back then. He's indeed a man of many mysteries, but for all his secrecy, he has never yet let us down. So if he, and you, wish to remain silent about your short homeland, then the folk here will respect your wish for privacy. I am, however, more than a little curious to see any crafting talent you might be hiding. If you ought to contribute on that front, be sure to come back and visit once you've had a chance to settle in. Just ask for Catless, and I'll find you an Ishir in the Crystalline Mean. You can help us keep the cogs of the city greased and turning. Cool, we know about life in the Crystarium now. Step 1, hit the right buttons. Okay, so that should allow us to go and talk back to the Exarch. Let's hit, it should just be you? It's the Rookery. Yep. I'm assuming you still don't work. Yep. Okay, Rookery, where are you? Are you like down below us? Yep. I'm gonna have way too much fun intentionally jumping off things for the skirt to lift up. Okay, there. We got all of those locked up. Now we can jump directly out of... Okay, Exarch. What's up? Oh, how did you fare? Did my colleagues help you form a clearer picture of this world and its people? I don't even know if that's like in part of the update. I didn't have this, I didn't use this before the update. Yes, it seems you were treated to a most thorough introduction. I understand it's something of a chore, but 'twas necessary that you grasp these things before we proceed. As for the Crystal Tower's origin, you may have noted that details were sparse. The structure is, in fact, the self-save one you know from the source. Transported to the first in its entirety. It was my first attempt at breaching the boundaries between worlds. Something of a trial run for your eventual crossing. And although I do not know which era I tore it from, I do know that its arrival served to set the wheels of fate in motion. Yeah, I didn't think we cared about that yet. You've done as I requested, and learned something of the world in which you found yourself. But it's time I fulfilled my half of the bargain and explained what has befallen your comrades. That is a conversation I would rather have in the privacy of my quarters, however. I must go on ahead to the tower and organize a few things, but I shall see the guard knows to admit you. Just like that, then Graha Tia's... I am not familiar with that name. Is there something I should know? Extraordinary tale. But I'm afraid I found no such individual residing in the tower when it passed into my care. Mayhap we can revisit that mystery another time. For now, I think it best we focus on the present. Into the chambers we go! Stairs are made for jumping. Jumping's what I'll do. Let me in. Let me in. Hey Mel, are you free? Are you safe?
Welcome to the Ocular, my private study. We can speak here without fear of being overheard. I have much to explain, but the truths which I must touch upon in doing so would cause only distress and confusion to the people of this world. Pray keep that in mind. Now, I am sure you are desperate to know the fate of your fellow scions. To put it simply, they are here in the First. Their arrival, however, was not as recent as you may imagine. Here, time flows at a different pace from that of the Source. In the space of a single hour in your home world, an entire year might pass in the First, and the reverse could also be true. The pace fluctuates without rhyme or reason, and it cannot be predicted. That said, we seem to be entering a period of near equivalence, and thus, for the moment, you need not overly concern yourself with the passage of time. As for your companions, however, Y'shtola and Urianger have dwelled here for 3 winters, all told, while Thancred's count stands at 5. Even our more recent arrivals, Alphino and Alize, have lived in the First for almost a year. My intention had been to summon only you, but the art of reaching across worlds has proven exceedingly difficult to master. Thus it was that my fumbling hand closed upon those to whom your fate is most closely bound as well.
Great job, Exarch. Be safe away from the family and the bull crap, and you give Finn all the pets he deserves.
As they were not the object of my summons, their transference was incomplete. Though they may appear to possess corporeal bodies, they are, in truth, merely spirits that one can see and touch. Consequently, while you yourself will be able to pass between worlds with relative freedom, they will not. Much as it grieves me, they are stranded here, unable to return.
Good. Gotta make sure that nothing changed. Find a way to send him back.
We spent every waking hour searching for a way to reverse the summoning. In the beginning, at least. As you may have surmised, however, our efforts met with little success. And then we all but abandoned the endeavor once Urianger shared with us the vision he had witnessed during his journey through the rift. In that chaotic no-man's land between realms, time and space warp and blend in unexpected ways. What Urianger saw was the future, that which would one day come to pass. In his vision of tomorrow, the First was rejoined with the Source. This collision of worlds brought about the 8th umbral calamity and the deaths of countless multitudes. Amongst those who perished, Urianger clearly saw the fall of the Scion's mightiest champion. He watched you die.
But I'm immortal.
And
Definitely.
thus did the Scions embrace their exile, and began searching this world for a means to forestall the coming catastrophe in yours. Their souls are stranded in the First, yes, but they have fought on, desperate to save their home and you from destruction. Nor have their efforts been in vain, for it was they who finally established that the elimination of the Sin Eaters will indeed serve to prevent the calamity. Considering the circumstances of our meeting, you would be forgiven for doubting my version of events. And so, before all else, I would suggest you track down your comrades and hear the tale from their lips. I shall of course be happy to assist in these reunions, and you need not make any decisions regarding your involvement until you are certain of where you stand. Meanwhile, I promise I will not rest until I have found a way to help your friends return home.
You just said you stopped trying, though.
What say you? Have I earned your trust for the moment, at least?
Not really, but let's proceed. For want of a better choice.
Excellent. You will not regret this. With that settled, we shall have to see about getting you ready for the road. Traveling across the rift has no doubt left you weary. I will arrange for a room where you might rest in comfort. While it's being prepared, perhaps I can show you around.